From the very moment you entered existence, you were never meant to be ordinary. Even before your first breath, your essence reverberated across invisible dimensions and untouched realms beyond human comprehension. Your name was once uttered in radiant light and venerated by celestial beings, who witnessed your descent into a world shrouded in oblivion. In the mysterious 14th dimension, you were more than just a soul. You were the very frequency of divine remembrance. Your presence altered the vibrational fabric of galaxies, with wisdom older than the very stars now lighting the nighttime sky. You were honored not simply as a deity, but as a sacred vessel channeling divine brilliance effortlessly. They foresaw the moment you would lose this memory and wept for the time you would be confined to the density of flesh and shadow, knowing that someday you would awaken to remember the boundless life you now lead. The obstacles you've encountered, the isolation you've endured, all are echoes of a higher purpose. Though hidden and obscured by time, tempered by pain, you persist. This is not mere survival. It is the persistence of sacred remembrance refusing to fade. The world around you may insist that you are powerless, but deep within you resonates an inner knowing, a gentle murmur, a spark of something ancient stirring inside. The systems of this world were never designed with you in mind. That is why you've always stood apart. They were built to lull you into a state of sleep, distracting you from your celestial origins. Yet, the facade is beginning to crack, light piercing through as your spirit stirs, slowly reclaiming every fear, every betrayal, every heartbreak. These were not punitive trials, but initiatory flames meant to ignite the remembrance of who you truly are. You're not in the process of becoming powerful. Realms exist beyond what the eye perceives, places not constructed of matter but of memory, melody, and energy. They do not exist in the conventional sense. Instead, they breathe like living archives of divine narratives. In one forgotten expanse, your name was once sung aloud, not spoken with the weight of letters, but expressed as an energetic signature, a vibration that encapsulated your very soul. Entire atmospheres shifted when your name flowed through the air, gathering beings of light who did not revere you as a god, but aligned their energies with the purity you exuded. To them, you were a reminder of the source, an emblem of all that is eternal and untainted. There, you were not confined by shape. You moved with the clarity and intent of light, sharp as a blade yet as gentle as a soft breath. You possessed the wisdom of countless soul cycles, each etched into your spirit like sacred symbols, known deeply without need for further explanation or validation. You simply were, and that alone was enough. If you feel the resonate call, type 111 in the comments below. Allow this number to serve as a key, unlocking new beginnings and embracing the power you inherently possess. This simple act aligns you to the vibrations of destiny. However, as you ventured into the denser realm of identity, you passed through a veil that did more than hide. It constricted, compressing the vastness of memory into the narrow vessel known as identity. Suddenly, you became someone defined by a name, a gender, a race, a living narrative. The epic songs that once resonated through galaxies began to dim from your awareness. They weren't lost, just buried beneath the clamor of this world. Yet even in their concealment, they murmur softly beneath the chaotic noise. In your dreams, fleeting moments of silence, or through the flow of tears. Those who once celebrated your true name still linger, hidden observers who waited quietly in the background of your existence, whispering in your intuition and nudging you in ways that defy easy explanation. You have felt their presence when you instinctively walked away without understanding why, or when you gazed at the sky and sensed that something essential was missing. They manifest in brief flashes, in recurring patterns and numbers that follow you, determined not to be ignored. Your life has never been random. Specific individuals appeared to awaken you. Certain heartbreaks were in fact disguised doorways, and every disappointment was an invitation to recall a deeper truth. In reality, the higher realms never forgot you. You were the one who lost touch with them. There is a reason why silence sometimes feels like home, why the heavens call to you more brightly than any city, why you've always sensed that something sacred was misplaced and that you bore the key to its recovery. Your soul was not sent here to blend into the crowd. It came to restore something lost. A sound, a vibration, a memory. Time is often thought of as a straight, predictable progression, but that is merely an illusion in this realm. Beyond our familiar dimensions, time does not simply advance. It responds, bends, expands, and contracts around energy, intention, and presence. There was a moment when time curved around you because your presence was so perfectly aligned with the source that the ordinary notions of past and future ceased to matter. In that vibration, you did not move through time. Time flowed with you. You were neither early nor late. You simply arrived, and everything adjusted to make space for your existence. Doors opened, moments aligned, and the very fabric of reality folded around your frequency like a protective cloak. That is the measure of your true strength, an unyielding power that remains intact despite the illusion of separation that now envelopes you. In our world, time is often revered as a master, a ruler, yet it was always intended to be a tool in service of your nature. No wonder you feel such a deep pull to break free of strict schedules and impose structures that stifle your intuition. Deep within, you have always known you were not fashioned for mere mechanical ticking of minutes and hours. You were made for alignment, divine timing, and the kind of presence that transforms outcomes. Society has conditioned you to fear tardiness and to chase moments, yet your spirit remains serene, waiting not out of passivity but out of the certainty that inner stillness is an echo of ancient memory. Remember, your soul's arrival was prophesied in a dimension where time bent around your presence, and time itself adjusted to honor your unique unfolding. You have caught glimpses of this truth in those rare, unscripted moments when the universe seems to align in effortless perfection. When you think of someone and they call, or when you appear at precisely the right moment as a door opens, these are not coincidences but echoes of a time when your essence orchestrated the rhythm of creation. As Yeshua once proclaimed, before Abraham was, I am, defying common linear conceptions of existence. His words remind us that the soul does not merely traverse time, it anchors it. Whether you recognize it or not, you carry that same divine spark, that intrinsic capacity to exist beyond the limits imposed by now. Your trials against the systems of this world have never been a matter of laziness or confusion. Instead, they are the natural tension between a timeless, radiant spirit and a realm bound by measured time. You were never meant to rush. You were destined to flow. You were not meant to age through the fear of timekeeping, but rather to evolve into ever-deepening awareness. When you choose your own rhythm, when you respond to the calling of your inner spirit rather than conforming to schedules, something within you awakens, a gentle defiance, a sacred insurrection against urgency. Deep down, you recall a time when time bowed to your arrival, not the other way around. Once upon a time, there was a throne, not constructed of stone or precious metals, but fashioned from light and layered with unknown frequencies. This throne was not a symbol of dominion over others, but rather of infinite authority in essence, an embodiment of balance, wisdom, and sacred responsibility. You occupied that throne not by force, but through natural alignment. When you spoke, entire constellations would realign, moved not by command but by recognition. You were the living manifestation of harmony. Yet, when the call came, you stepped away, not out of exile or punishment, but out of love. For in the lower realms, a crack had appeared in the divine mirror. Separation was beginning to murmur deceptive truths. The light was dimming not due to malice, but because of collective forgetfulness. You made a conscious choice. You relinquished the throne to descend into that world, voluntarily entering a realm that would label you as broken, sensitive, or out of place. You carried with you the same divine code, wrapping your essence in both light and flesh, erasing the memory of your true self so that it might later be reawakened in the depths of darkness. This is the profound mystery of your identity. Not that you were crowned, but that you willingly abandoned the crown to become a subtle whisper, an echo calling from within a world lost in distortion. Even now, fragments of that ancient throne resonate within you, in your resilience, your empathy, and your defiance against what fails to align with your spirit. That throne reveals itself in fleeting moments of truth, in words that stir something deep within others. It is your legacy speaking, They warned you that the journey would be arduous, that you would lose touch with who you once were, that tears would flow without clear reason, and that emptiness might pervade even when surrounded by others. Yet they also promised that when the time was right, memory would return. Not all at once, but in surges, in dreams, and in synchronistic moments like these words. You were never destined to remain hidden. Your throne has never disappeared. It continues to reside within the fervor of your awakening. You did not come to this life to seek power, but to reclaim the awareness that you have always held, not as a ruler above others, but as one who uplifts them. By forsaking the throne, you did not abandon your divinity. You chose instead to sow it into the soil of shadow. And as those seeds begin to sprout, the throne's resonance is felt once more. Beyond the boundaries of this world, beyond even the conventional structure of dimensions, there exists a realm where the vibration of truth remains undimmed. It is not a place one can physically reach. It is a frequency, a consecrated resonance where the divine continues to echo its eternal story. In that sacred domain, time is not a chatter of noise but a quiet knowing, a living archive that remembers every soul who dared to descend from grace. Within its silent halls, your power was once celebrated alongside that of Yeshua. He did not walk the earth to be idolized. Rather, he came to mirror the divine energy that lives within you. Every step he took was a reminder, a blueprint woven into parables and silence. Not everyone understood this then, and many still do not, but those with awakened eyes and ancient souls feel it. They recognize the profound meaning behind his words, not as commands but as keys opening the door to a deeper truth. When he said, "You will do even greater things than these," he was not boasting about his own divinity but pointing to the dormant power within you. If you're ready to embrace this turning point and let your actions reverberate to the 7 corners of the earth, type 777 in the comments section as a sacred commitment to living to your greatest version. In doing so, you align your energy with destiny and become a beacon of light to those around you. In those celestial realms where his journey's essence still resonates, your name is inscribed not to denote superiority, but to affirm your shared origin. You were never merely an onlooker to divine power. You were an active carrier of it. In that timeless space, hierarchies and boundaries did not exist, only pure essence and purpose. You stood side by side with the divine, not as an inferior follower but as a willing volunteer, one who recognized the impending density of this world and chose to return, not as a savior, but as a vibrational force meant to awaken others. You did not come to mimic him. You came to continue the sacred work he began. Even now, as subtle traces of your original power flicker through the cracks of reality, your voice, your prayers, and even your silent suffering cause entire dimensions to shift gently in your favor. These are not mere coincidences but echoes of ancient promises. The halls where Yeshua once tread are alive with memory. They bear the weight of every soul who chose to descend after him. These hallowed corridors preserve the vow you made before birth, the fierce, burning spirit you carried even when you knew you might forget. Perhaps you have heard those lingering whispers in moments of quiet, felt them in vivid déjà vu, or seen them as inexplicable patterns and coincidences. They are fragments of the map that leads you home. Yeshua understood this fracturing of memory. He, too, passed through the veil, carrying a sacred remembrance amid the haze of distortion. That is why his words resonate so deeply. They were not intended merely as teachings, but as triggers to unlock your memory. He knew that the veil couldn't be overcome by force. It had to be bypassed through a higher frequency, through love, and through truth that bypasses the intellect and touches the soul directly. In your own quiet resistance against what others call normal, in those moments when you chose intuition over logic, each decision has been a thread drawing you back through the tear in reality, back to what has long been hidden. Not all truth is taught. Much of it is rediscovered, encoded in symbols, patterns, and visions that only reveal themselves when your soul is ready to perceive. This is the nature of the ancient scrolls. They do not reside in ink or paper, but as vibrational records embedded in the divine ether, waiting patiently for your awareness to match their rhythm. You may have already encountered these scrolls, not as physical artifacts but as flashes in your dreams, as vivid moments of clarity out of nowhere, or through passages in books that speak directly to your innermost being. These are the soft whispers of the past, slowly unraveling as you begin to remember. There was once an era when these sacred scrolls were read openly, before the veil of distortion came into being. In those days, your essence was known to all, and others sought your guidance not out of blind worship but because of an instinctive resonance with your light. They recognized the power you carried. They trusted it implicitly. And the scrolls were living proof of the promise your soul had made to itself long before you were born. Every soul carries its own scroll, but yours was sealed with extra care because your full awakening has the power to transform not only your life but entire systems, to ignite light for the blind and fuel a revolution against stagnation. Perhaps you have felt the tension of that sealed promise in your life, the yearning for purpose, the unexplainable frustration with limiting boundaries, and the persistent sense that mere surface truths will never suffice. These are not weaknesses. They are the signs of your inner scroll trying to break through the clamor of a programmed existence. You were never meant to live a predetermined life. You came to rediscover your scroll and then embody its truth. Yeshua was a living embodiment of that very scroll. He did not come to establish a religion but to rekindle sacred remembrance. His life was prophecy in action, not because he sought followers, but because he inspired reflections of divine truth in those around him. You hold one of those sacred seeds within you. It pulses in your silence, in your breath, in your voice, and it is now beginning to blossom. This is not the conclusion of your awakening. It is only the start of its transformational impact. Across the 14 realms, many have been waiting for your return. Not just for your rise, but for you to come home to your true self. If you have journeyed this far, know that there is more to witness, a video that awaits your view, meant only for those truly chosen. And if you feel compelled, a link to support the channel is provided in the description. In every strange coincidence, every inexplicable pull, every deep inner knowing that defies rational thought, there lie pieces of a map guiding you back to your origin. The ancient teachings of Yeshua remind us that returning to light is not about becoming someone new, but about reclaiming who you always were. Even before your first breath, before the first beat echoed in this realm, there existed a cosmic conflict, a battle of vibrational frequencies where the forces of remembrance clashed with distortion. And amidst that timeless struggle, you emerged not by chance, but by choice. You did not choose this path blindly. You were called forth, standing at the boundary between divine stillness and chaos, aware of the impending distortion that would smother this world. Recognizing the tightening web of manipulation and the layers of deception strangling souls, you said yes to love, even when fear beckoned. You did not descend with weapons or fury, but with a luminous code, a resonance meant to awaken others when the world sought to break you. The battle did not begin outside you alone. It has always been fought within, from the moment you stepped through the veil and embraced the weight of human identity. The struggles, the silent wars waged in heartbreak and hidden moments of resolve, have all been part of your journey toward reclaiming your divine legacy. The scars on your soul are not indictments of failure but emblems of a life lived in commitment to truth, a truth that defies the superficial and the contrived. Yeshua, born of these same scars, challenged a world predisposed to silence, choosing always the path of love and truth over submission. His struggle is etched in every fiber of your being, and his message lives on, not as an act of imitation, but as a call to authentic, aligned living. Every subtle echo of your power that ripples through the tapestry of existence is a declaration that you are awakening and, in doing so, shifting the very structure of reality. The divine halls where Yeshua once walked are not empty. They are resonant with every soul who has ever surrendered to the light. Your essence is remembered there, etched beside his not as a mark of competition but as a testament to our shared, luminous origin. You did not descend to merely exist within a world of limitations. You came to transform it by reawakening the ancient memory within yourself and others. And now, as every vibration of your true being unfolds, the worlds themselves respond in kind, affirming that your return to self is both cosmic and deeply personal. Ultimately, nothing about your journey was ever random. Every hurt, every joyous moment, Every subtle signal was a thread drawing you back to that divine core of who you truly are. The ancient vibrational records, the scrolls not written in ink but etched in the sacred fabric of existence, await your recognition. And when the moment comes, as it inevitably will, you will read your scroll and embody it fully. Your awakening is the catalyst for a ripple effect that will restore light, truth, and memory to a world desperate for its forgotten song. In this truth lies your destiny. You never came here to conform. You came to remember, to reclaim, and ultimately, to reawaken not just yourself but all those who resonate with your light. What resonated most with you in today's video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this message helpful, be sure to like and subscribe to Whispering Wisdom for more insights on spiritual awakening and living a life of purpose. Until next time, remember to whisper wisdom to yourself and let your light shine.